Good afternoon, DMV. This is the DMV poet, aka Xander, and I just wanted to welcome everybody to the newest edition to Streams of Consciousness. We're going to be having a special guest with us today. We have an author, a student, a teacher, a very big pillar of the community, Gwendolyn Curry, here with us. Want to say hi?
Hello, thank you.
She's actually she's actually also a very, very close friend. And I invited her here today to kind of talk to everybody about a lot of issues that are going on in the media right now. We'll just start off. On August 28th in 1955, a young African-American boy was murdered in Mississippi. His name was Emmett Louis Till, and he was basically accused of flirting with a white woman in the South, and he was transported to a barn, abducted, transported to a barn, beaten, and his eyes were gouged out before shooting him in the head and disposing his body in the Tallahatchie River. On February 4th in 1999, in New York City, current United States, Amadou Diallo was leaving his apartment, and he was approached by a large number of New York police officers, I think 4 or 5, and they accused him of being a suspect in a rape case. And as he continued to plead with them that he was innocent, he reached for his wallet to provide his identification, and he was shot down. I think there was a reported 41 shots given out, and all 4 police officers were indicted, and they were all acquitted of murder. They were let go from their positions with the New York Police Department with a severance pay and with full benefits. The most recent, I think, or most noted right now in the media is Trayvon Martin. And on, get the specific dates. Trayvon Martin was fatally killed on the night of February 26, 2012 in Sanford, Florida. George Zimmerman, who was a self-promoted neighborhood watch alias, was roaming his neighborhood, approached Trayvon Martin, and although the details are very sketchy, the trial is going on right now, there was a confrontation, and Trayvon Martin was shot point blank in the chest and died pretty much instantly. George Zimmerman was let go that night. He wasn't charged initially, and it pretty much took a huge uproar of the black community, Al Sharpton, a lot of different celebrities, and a lot of different normal citizens to protest to get George Zimmerman even charged. And now he's being tried, and there's a possibility that he will be acquitted as well. So, I mean, I kind of went into all of these different stories. I think everybody's probably familiar with most of the details. Just that there's a lot of hate in the United States right now. There's a lot of prejudice. There's a lot of stereotypes. And I'm not sure if we all as individuals understand that we are a part of that sometimes. Gwen, what do you think?
I agree with what you said. The only thing I would change is to say, I wouldn't say right now. It's kind of always been like that. Mm-hmm. I think we just try to sweep it under the rug. The word race is always the bad word in the U.S. because we don't see race and all that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in 2013, the premise is that we shouldn't see race, that we should see people for who they are. But, I mean, I can be the first one to admit that subconsciously sometimes I pass judgment on physical attributes, on first meetings, on how people speak. Sometimes I pass judgments, and a lot of times I'm wrong. You know, I can't judge a person by what they initially give me or how they look or how they dress, but sometimes you make that decision, and sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you're right. But I'm going to go ahead, and we have a couple of different little treats we're going to play for you guys. The first piece I'm going to give you is by deaf poet. She's a veteran. She's an amazing spoken word artist. She's a nationally recognized author. Her name is Georgia Me, and she has this really, really good piece called Niggods. And it kind of breaks down the perception of the black man in the world, as well as the perception of the black man to the black woman. And it's, you know, to me, I don't necessarily feel like it's cookie cutted to the black man or the black woman. I feel like all people should be able to relate to this in dealing in relationships and dealing with the relations of man and woman in different situations. So we're going to go ahead and play that for you guys. Enjoy.
From Atlanta, Georgia, please give it up for Georgia Me.
Where are my sisters that love black men? And where all my kings at? Let me hear y'all make some noise. This piece is called Niggods. Niggods. Real niggas don't claim to be anything. They just are. Who they are, what they are, where they are. Ghetto superstars. I love the way a nigga walks and talk, how he maneuvers when he gets caught. Shit poetry in motion when a nigga puts down game. Ain't too many niggas lame, maybe insane. But on to those that can't understand what it's like to be a black man. If you can't see it, you must be blind. Black men exemplify what is fine. What is pride, what is struggle, what is life. They fight through this bullshit, misery, and strife. I'll be a lucky woman if one day I'm called wife. I love a nigga with chinky eyes, black lips, and toned thighs. The rumor ain't true for all, but I like a nigga with some size. But dick ain't what makes me fall. To me, the mind is the prize. Brothers who seek knowledge didn't necessarily go to college, but who are conscious of the true plan, who realize God is every black man. Can I get an amen? I'm your #1 fan. What a gorgeous tan. From chocolate to caramel, it all looks so sweet. Visions of beauty as they walk down the street. Head full of dreads, Timbs on their feet. They walk as if they listening to a beat. The beat is the rhythm intrinsically inside. The rhythm is the heart which beats with pride and full of love. The devil wants to hide. Oh, damn. Look at that backside. Black men are the only creation that command your attention on impact by their color, their spirit, the way they act. As a matter of fact, I'm amazed at how y'all handle situations. All across these nations, doors locking, purse watching, looks of fear as they enter the station. But they laugh and move on, steady grooving to a song. Fuck you, cracker. I might be blacker, I'm God's reflection, so fear me. You need protection. Oh my God, y'all so cool. Some don't know it, some do and don't use it. Those are the fools, but see, I ain't here to hate, but to celebrate. My niggas from that south with them goals in their mouth, with them finger waves, fades, and braids. Forever pimping, never ever getting played. My niggas from that west with them khakis and chucks, permed out, creased down, fly as fuck. My niggas from this east, that belly of the beast, surviving day to day, never a moment of peace. If all my kings understood their power, they wouldn't waste a minute, a second, an hour on this bullshit. They want you to quit your journey to find your spirit and to ignore your heart to where you can't hear it. Niggas, God bless y'all.
All right, that was Georgia Me again, veteran deaf poet, giving us niggods and her opinion of what a niggod is. Gwendolyn, what do you think of that piece?
I actually was agreeing with a lot of the things she said because that's kind of how I view black men. Mm-hmm. But this one thing she said at the end was funny to me because it actually reminded me of the Trayvon Martin case. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get too much into it in case we talk about that later.
Okay.
But it was when she said, you know, black man walking, he says, fuck you, cracker, whatever. Mm-hmm. So that reminded me of the case because there was a part during the case where Rachel Jeantel, one of the witnesses, was repeating what Trayvon Martin was saying to her. And she said that he said there's a creepy cracker, you know, following him. And all through the media, they just kept making a big deal out of the word cracker. Like there were a lot of pissed white people and things like that.
Just to interject, when the defense attorney asked her if she thought that was a derogatory term, she said no.
Right.
And she told him he was a bald-headed cracker.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's a good segue. Okay. Because, you know, one of the big things we're going to discuss today is Miss Paula Deen. Now, I am educated chef. I went to culinary arts school.
This is true. You can really cook.
I can throw down in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. But overall, when I was in school, Paula Deen wasn't a huge brand. She was on Food Network. You know, people were familiar with her, but she wasn't a well-respected chef as she was prior to last week. For those of you that don't know the details, there's a case pending against Paula Deen now, and she went to court and did a deposition. defending herself against a lot of discriminatory charges, a lot of workplace discrimination, a lot of sexual harassment with her brother against female employees. Like, she's dealing with a lot right now. And one of the things that she mentioned in the deposition when asked was, did she use the word nigger? And she said yes. And she said she does use it. And she brought up some different instances from specific things that they're charging her with, specific dates. And one of the main dates, if she's referring to, is from 27 years ago. And she talks about how she was going to celebrate her brother's wedding by having a bunch of black folk dancing in dressed as slaves, tap dancing like they did in the Shirley Temple movies. And she said in the deposition it was a joke, that she would have never thought to do it. But she does comment that it would be nice to go to a restaurant and have all middle-aged black people dressed as slaves as they were in the South before the Civil Rights, before the Emancipation Proclamation, before blacks was freed, before we got equal rights. And, she's being labeled, racist.
Well, but when she said it, did she, because I can't remember the exact quote.
Yeah.
Did she use the word nigger to describe them or not?
Well, she refers to African Americans as niggers several times in the deposition. And when asked why she does that, she just says blatantly, because that's what they are, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Now, there's been a lot of responses. I think mainly the black community is up in arms. I've had this conversation over the last 7 days with a lot of people, and most people feel betrayed. They feel like they've been supporting a fraud, and they feel that she's racist and that she's just a horrible person. And a lot of times I feel like, Al Sharpton, which, I'm a big fan of Al Sharpton, but Al Sharpton, he spoke out on this, and he basically said that she should be held accountable for acts committed now and not for those committed 20 years ago. And she's basically in the midst of a media firestorm following this huge revelation. And, Lauren, Miss Lauren Hill, she commented and she said, while many people believe that there's such thing as people of color being racist towards white people, she did this elaborate blog post saying how that's absolutely ridiculous. She said that racism towards whites is a reaction, not an unjustified feeling. She says that the brutality and oppression that whites used against people of color throughout history is the reason that there's animosity towards them from all other minority races. That's dealing like basic reverse racism. That's dealing with a lot of different topics that I don't think we have time to go into. Because right. I think anybody that knows me knows that I think Lauren Hill is an otherworldly being. I think she thinks on a whole other playing field. But I think this is just a conversation that needs to be had, just so we can all get different perspectives and we can all kind of understand exactly what's going on, so we're not misinforming everybody else.
Right.
One thing I wanted to bring up about the black community and about the uproar about Paula Deen is I remember 6 or 7 months ago, as a community, we were split as to what to do, how we should feel. Dwayne Carter, Lil Wayne, he put out a song with Future, and I think the song was called Karate Kick. Correct me if I'm wrong. And in the song, he says, pop a lot of pills, about to put rims on my skateboard wheels and beat that expletive up like Emmett Till. And when the uproar happened, he stayed silent for a good 6 weeks, and people came to his defense, like Future. And Future said that, even though they might have thought it was negative, he never brought positive energy to that situation because a lot of people don't know. He said that my dad didn't even know who Emmett Till was. He thought that I was referring to Emmett Smith.
Okay.
And the defense was that he felt that Lil Wayne was bringing light to the situation, where a lot of African Americans that didn't know who Emmett Till was would go research Emmett Till. I also want to reference a Rick Ross line in Usher collaboration they did, where he says, I got my hoodie on like I'm Trayvon Martin. And, of course, he's boasting a luxurious lifestyle. He's boasting money. He's boasting alcohol. He's boasting women. And he's referencing, his feeling at that moment with Trayvon Martin and that tragedy. And one of the big things I heard from a lot of people were, why isn't the black community, where's the respect for the black community when Paula Deen said all this stuff 27 years ago? My question for them is, where's the respect for the black community when Lil Wayne made that comment and millions of people were saying, why is Mountain Dew dropping him? Everybody's screaming freedom of speech. everybody's screaming artistic license. I mean, Gwen, do you think that's an example of reverse racism, or do you think it's a double standard?
It's kind of a hard question for me. When it comes to race, sometimes I do believe in a double standard, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. But I feel like sometimes the black community, and maybe any community, focuses on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue. I feel like when we like somebody, there's a lot of Lil Wayne fans. I used to be a Lil Wayne fan years ago. Mm-hmm. I want to punch myself in the face now for admitting that. But when we like somebody, we give them all the excuses in the world, you know? Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of people that are up in arms about Paula Deen didn't even know who she was till this happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think people knew who she was. But, I mean, as a chef, you know, as a person that cooks, I feel there's a lot of people in the entertainment industry that kind of didn't set out their lives thinking they were going to be a public figure.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can drudge up the past of people and you can find out a lot of different things that you never would have known about them. And, you know, Paula Deen being an older Caucasian woman from the South.
I have a question for you when you're done. Go ahead.
You know, just being an older white woman from the South. I mean, I know if I sit down with my grandmother and have a 20-minute conversation, she might say something that's kind of crazy. But it's just a question of whether it's in mixed company or whether it's in... whether you're comfortable, whether with people that you know won't repeat it, people that know who you are and understand that you're not prejudiced and that you're just joking. You know, so, I mean, this Paula Deen thing, it doesn't really change whether I'm going to use her macaroni and cheese recipe for me. You know, it doesn't really change whether I'm going to look to her to see the best way to fry chicken. I mean, it doesn't change. But, you know, she may be a little prejudiced, but I just feel like she's just as prejudiced as most of the people walking down the street. Did you have a question for me, Gwen?
Yes. Okay, so... saying that,
mm-hmm.
So would you purchase another Paula Deen product?
Well, I don't own any Paula Deen products.
But let's say she had, a really good coffee maker, because I know you love coffee.
Yeah.
And it was Paula Deen's coffee maker. Uh-huh. And let me tell you, she makes a great toaster.
Oh.
So would you purchase it now that you've heard some of the things or some of her... feelings or whatever towards black people?
Honestly, me personally, and this is just my personal opinion, and I really don't urge anybody to follow or, but please just don't judge me for it. I probably would buy a Paula Deen toaster or a coffee maker. I mean, I don't necessarily feel I'm funny just because I know I've watched the Food Network. I'm into a lot of that stuff. I work in television networks, and she does a lot for the urban and black communities. I mean, a lot of it's through Food Network and a lot of it is through Target or through her endorsements and her sponsorships. But she has scholarships that she gives to underprivileged urban children. She has, fee assistances for summer programs, and she gives out food to needy families. And it's not just specific to whites in the South or, whites in this country. There's... if you really look at the story, there's a lot of people that come to her defense. And they come to her defense because she's done something in their lives, like normal people, not just celebrities, not just Lauren or Stacey Dash. She had some real crazy things to say about the situation. But
you must tell me what she said afterwards.
Oh, yeah, offline. Because I try not to give her life as much as possible.
This is true.
I try. I don't know when being on Clueless as a co-star made you a political commentator. I don't know how that happened. I don't know when acting like Stacey Dash made you an actress, but anyway. I mean, being Damon Dash's cousin comes with a lot of benefits. But it's just, I just feel like I probably would still buy it. I mean, I don't feel like purchasing her products is supporting the Ku Klux Klan. Okay. Let's put it that way. I don't feel like she has little black children locked up in her basement making sugar or rolling her cigarettes. I don't think that's the situation. I mean, as Al Sharpton has made a point to say, this case is going to be a lot. And there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be brought to light. And there's going to be a lot of things that's current today stuff that we can focus on. And it may not be surrounding race relations. It may not be directed at the black community. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of stuff about Miss Paula Deen that she probably doesn't want people to know. Because it hurts her brand. She represents Food Network, just like Lil Wayne was representing Mountain Dew, just like Rick Ross was representing Reebok. And when you're in those situations, as a public figure, you really do have to be careful. Everything you say. because you're representing a larger conglomerate. And when you don't go along with what they're saying or doing, and you're not fitting into their demographic and brand, they're going to cut all ties, and they're going to get away from it. I have another piece that I want to share with everybody. This is another one of my favorite spoken word artists. He's by the name of Black Ice. It's just a really, really big piece, and I really, really want you guys to just kind of get into the words. We're going to do some minor discussion on it when we get back, and we're also going to move on to one of our next topics. So give it a listen, enjoy, and stay tuned.
Representing the city of Philadelphia. Please give it up for Black Ice.
What happens in neighborhoods where the self-esteem has been overshadowed by the decay and the children no longer play the way they used to? Where young boys choose to follow figures that had no father figures, a place where lives have been reduced to mere names on a nigga wall. A lot of dead shames on a nigga wall, because most of my childhood friends died over some dumb shit. It's like we all on some slum shit. Whatever happened to that we shall overcome shit. Nigga, where I'm from shit, they done tore down the projects and took away neighborhood sports. It's a place where little black boys put on jerseys and shorts, dream big about stardom on fine hardwood courts, but awake to the harsh reality of the stripped, unfinished inner city floor where life splinters. Cold winters are sheltered by crack houses instead of recreational centers that they claim to not have the paper to keep open for operation. The deconstruction of the black family has been in perpetuation ever since Willie Lynch set his theory in motion. Decharacterization was his sole promotion. Therefore, if you take the basketball out of his face and put the coke in his place, he'll still score. What's a young boy to do when he doesn't want to do wrong, but there's a lock on the right door? When he has the heart of a soldier, the aggression of a prize fighter, but no one's taught him what to fight for. See, most of our families are fatherless and quite poor, so we miss out on meals as well as kisses and hugs. You've got the audacity to cut the funding for the facilities that keep us off the streets, then ask us why we sell drugs. But imagine if niggas put down their dice and guns, picked up their daughters and sons, and put a little love right there where the hate is. Imagine if niggas had the chance to become accountants before being taught what the difference between wet and dry weight is. Imagine if these little inner city kids had the same type of schools that these rich kids have way out there in the sticks. Imagine if niggas had the chance to learn chemistry for real before we learned how to whip 7.5 out of 6. Imagine if these little black girls could go to that dance school for free and learn to love the dream of that Broadway show. Imagine if she wasn't forced into a game where you assume a filthy name and put your soul and your ass up for show. Imagine if she was taught to love herself, imitate no one, demand and demonstrate respect when she walks through the door. Imagine if she watched the telly and saw herself during the primetime hour instead of the 4 o'clock video whore. Imagine.
I really, really love that piece
That
because
was great.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like he's basically. I mean, I really don't want the premise of the show. I mean, the title of the show today is "Racism is Still Alive, but They're Not Concealing It." And the main reason why Gwendolyn's name popped up into my head as a guest today is because she has a mixed relationship with Kanye West as a fan. You know, she's been a fanatic. She's been I'm not really that into him. I hate him, but I want to hear it. I don't want to listen to it. You know, she's been that person. But, you know, as a big fan of Kanye and his message and his concepts and his mission to innovate the hip hop industry, I feel like he's an artist that has always shined light on what's actually going on in the streets all over the nation. Now, if you say he doesn't write his own lyrics, I mean, that's up to you how much value you put on that. But at the end of the day, he's the brand that's standing up there giving you a song called New Slaves, discussing how us as individual American citizens are enslaved by the media and are enslaved by branding and enslaved by what's marketable and what's not and what makes the most money. So if selling drugs or talking about selling drugs is going to make the most money in music, then all the up-and-coming rappers are talking about selling drugs. And not in the way Black Ice was discussing it, not in the way of, I wish my kids would learn chemistry before they learn how to turn 6 into 7.5. Not like that, but boasting about it. And, you know, most of them have never sold drugs, have never tried drugs, or didn't try drugs until they got their major record deal. And it's just like, you know, we have to remember as citizens, not necessarily as members of the black community or members of a minority community, but just as individual citizens, these are the people we're putting on the pedestals. These are the people we're celebrating.
Right.
You know, we're not celebrating Black Ice, who's talking about positive change in the community.
Or Bizzle, who's this rapper my boyfriend's always talking about. And
Okay.
do you know him?
No, I'm not familiar with Bizzle.
He's awesome. Well, he's a Christian rapper, but he says things similar to Black Ice. He talks about the community and the inner turmoil and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I feel like that's something that's not really documented, and I feel like that's something that's a stone unturned in hip hop currently. Yeezus. This is a little off topic, but it's not, because Yeezus goes into a lot of race relations. He gets into a lot of societal issues. He goes into a lot of different concepts with that album.
but see, that right there is my problem with Kanye West.
Okay.
He has so much to say. But it's all clouded over by all the, okay, I don't want to say the S word. All the crap he does on the side clouds it up.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are turned off by him before they can even get to his music. So
I mean, Mr. West is a walking contradiction, and he's always going to be a walking contradiction. It's not going to change. That's what's going to happen. He is the 2013 hip-hop Kurt Cobain. He is the John Lennon of our time. He is that musical genius that we can't understand anything but his music, and really
Right.
not all of it. You know?
But that's the thing. It's like, you are so talented. And I believe an artist should live their life and you shouldn't judge them on their life. But when their life starts to cloud up their music, it's like, dude, I can't even follow you anymore. I don't even, what? So,
But I mean, here's the thing. Yeezus has a lot of political undertones. Yeezus has a lot of emotion. It's a lot of confusion. It's a lot of rebellion. It's a lot of anarchy. And it's so interesting to me that he releases this album now, and the Trayvon Martin case is the headline of the century.
Right.
All of a sudden, I remember maybe 6 weeks ago, people didn't even remember who Trayvon Martin was. And even now, what's in the headlines is George Zimmerman, the defense in the Trayvon Martin case, the defense. It's
Right.
like he's still not, the focal point. That tragedy is not the focal point. It hasn't been since the incident happened, and it did it for like maybe a week. I mean, what we're really trying to discuss here is, or we are discussing, is social relations and race relations in this country. And, how can we move forward? Me, Gwendolyn are considered minorities. As a minority citizen, how do we move forward? We can't necessarily move forward by jumping on Paula Deen and attacking Paula Deen. What she did was wrong. What Serena did to Maria Sharapova was wrong. Paula apologized. She said it. She admitted to saying it. She said why she said it. And she said, I'm going to do my best not to talk like that anymore. I'm sorry. Serena said what she said about Maria Sharapova. Wasn't as backbiting, wasn't as atrocious. But I said it. I didn't mean for everybody to hear it. If it hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. Moving on to the next question. It's just like when people say something, we have to give people an opportunity to take it back. The same way we would expect as an individual to take it back. It doesn't matter if they're celebrities or not. And to all the people that supported Lil Wayne through his adversity, I don't want to hear what you have to say about Paula Deen. It's weightless to me. I really don't care.
I think that's my hugest thing with Paula Deen. I mean, my opinion of the whole Paula Deen thing, was I disappointed in her? Yeah. But, I mean, all this betrayal business and this, that, and the third, I mean, it's too much. I honestly feel like she said a word and she got caught, and there are bigger things out there. To me, this is just a distraction. Things we should worry about are the affirmative action, the Voting Act.
Voting Act.
All of that is going on in the media, and we're like, Paula Deen said what? It's so shocking that this Southern older white woman, who's very proud of her old Confederate roots,
reminds
and
me
all that
of Miss Millie from The Color Purple, up and down, right and left.
Everybody's so shocked by this, and it's like, why? Was I a little surprised? Yes, because her and Michelle Obama were so buddy-buddy on her show. She had Jimmy Carter on her show. She had all these great people, and I guess I was like, I kind of assumed that she wouldn't use the N-word, but either way, my whole thing is that there's bigger things than that. She said it. I'm not going to hate her for it. She's there. I mean, personally, unlike Alex, I'm not going to put any more money in her bank account.
They're pulling her products off the shelves anyway. You ain't going to be able to buy Paula Deen nothing in
And
about
I think
2 weeks.
it's all for formality, though.
Yeah.
She's going to be back on top within a year. This is what happens. It's America. But right now, they have to make a show of this whole thing. But, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But my thing with that is there's just bigger things right now.
Yeah.
Like, we're chasing little things to distract us from the bigger things.
I mean, I kind of question the person that gets so up in arms and is mad about Paula Deen on social media for 2 or 3 weeks and making all these crazy gifts. My question for them is, were you this surprised and outraged when you found out Trayvon Martin was murdered?
Right.
Or did you wait a couple of days for everybody else to jump on it and then you just joined in? Like, it's like, come on. You're so surprised that an elderly white woman from the South with proud Confederate roots is using derogatory terms towards African Americans, but you're not surprised that a 17-year-old boy was shot down in front of or in the neighborhood where his father lived, that's unarmed and had nothing but some Skittles and an Arizona iced tea.
Right.
We're not surprised about that. We're not shocked. We see it enough. We see it on World Star. We see it on the internet. We see it online. We see it in movies.
This definitely makes me think of something else that really irritates me.
What?
Okay, now this Trayvon Martin thing happened.
Yeah, give it
and
to me, Gwen.
I was, I was just as pissed, and I do see it as a racial thing. I feel like, you know, George Zimmerman was your typical non-black person who saw a young black kid, was tired of seeing young black kids come through his, you know, neighborhood, and so this time he wanted to stop one, and things got immensely out of hand. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, you know, there was a lot of outrage for that. And a lot of people were like, oh, we're tired of these people getting away with killing our boys and things like that. Now, there's also been a lot of violent things going on in Chicago. Am I right?
Yes.
And a whole bunch of other major cities with high black populations. There's just so much violence. And I've honestly seen a lot of people in our community kind of shrug it off.
We're desensitized.
Right. We're kind of like, oh, it's okay. And why should we be desensitized? That should really hurt us, seeing ourselves kill each other. More so, I mean, it's all bad. That's my whole point. It's all bad. But it's like, we're just like, oh, that's a bad place. You know what I mean? Oh, those niggas right there, blah, blah, blah. That's what they do. And that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, the African American is a very, very complex human being.
Yes, we are.
We you know, just everything from generational issues to, you know, family structure issues, like, you know, neighborhood and societal issues. You know, the African American is complex. And I never, you know, ever set out to try to understand every African American in every area. I mean, I see tragedies like a couple of months ago, some women were found in trunks of cars in Detroit.
Oh, yes, I remember.
And it was
that.
it was almost like an epidemic.
No, do you remember when the guy
they were turning up missing, and then they were just showing up in the trunks of Chrysler 300s, and it was happening,
Wow.
and it was just like, well, they're prostitutes, and like 30% of them weren't, you know, and you know, I want to get into this piece. I wrote this.
Okay.
It, you know, references Trayvon Martin, which I feel is a little brother lost in the streets. Amadou Diallo, which I feel is like a brother-in-law that, you know, I never got to meet. It doesn't have a title,
Okay.
but I've got a cadence in my chest that tells me what to write. A consistent beat in my heart that generally shows me light. Silver linings and gray clouds rightfully filled with rain generally represent my own tears from internal pain as I march to my beat, take turns with my feet, leaving footsteps of my journey on these bloodstained streets. Rope burns and red leaves plague my family tree. Fields and sharecroppers as far as my eyes can see. Right foot, wrong foot, moving in sync. Ignoring the media because it's answers that I seek. Self-reflecting naively, hoping to achieve some peace of mind, leaves my mind in pieces. It's my purpose I'm trying to find. I came across a mute that explained the meaning of life. And the blind man that showed me what love at first sight looks like. The deaf man that exposed real lies being spoken with the truth that's rarely heard. Atrocities like Amadou Diallo still occur, and the same justice system finds that justice is deferred. God led me to realize that I may never truly be satisfied. My dreams may never quantify, and I may never really qualify for society's acceptance. If I was never inspired, would I still dream in black and white of beautifully intertwined puzzles of horizontal words that rhyme? If Hard Times was a movie, this would be the theme music. Because my heart then felt pain and I just keep moving. My life is one big rhyme and I'm just writing through it. And I'm never trusting in any industry because I was never foolish. It's crazy how it seems Trayvon Martin died in vain because it seems the mainstream media has forgotten the point of his name. The crime committed is the same. The main suspect hasn't changed. The only thing that's different is his position on the page. Movies desensitize the eye so we don't cry no more when we watch our family die bleeding on the floor. Political agendas pitted against us in our own minds here. Yeah, they got jobs and opportunity for the poor. It's cleverly titled Prison Life in Another Overseas War. Live free or die hard bold. Truth be told, we're dying slow. So many stories lie resting in cemetery plots untold. And, you know, that piece is a dedication to anybody out there that's lost somebody.
Right.
I know of close people in my life that have passed violently, accidentally, tragically, and I really, really wanted to dedicate that to them because I have a lot of people that have gone, and there is no story of what happened. There is no first 48 episode. There is no suspect. There are no witnesses. You know, I mean, my cousin was shot down in the Bronx at the movie theater with his baby's mother and his son, Luis.
Wow.
And his son, Luis, was 4, maybe 5 years old. And he was there. And nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything.
Okay.
And when things, and you know, just things like that have been happening to us as minorities in this country for 400 years. We've been disappearing. We've been, you know, being found in the Tallahatchie River, hanging from the trees all over the South, burned in the backyards and on crosses. I mean, this has just been happening. And my main point of this show is to bring light that it's continuing to happen. And as long as the people that we put up on that pedestal, the people that we revere, the Lil Waynes, the Rick Rosses, because if anybody notices, J. Cole isn't on top. You know what I'm saying? The Lupe Fiascos, even though his opinion is very weighted and sometimes abrasive, isn't on top.
Common
Sense. He's had his moments, but
Right.
Common Sense is still not revered as an iconic rapper.
Right.
Been in the game since 93. I've been listening to Common Sense since I Love Her.
Right.
And he's still not revered as one of the greatest battle rappers of our time. Nobody even says anything to him or about him because they're afraid he's going to Drake them. You know, I mean, it's just like, you know, we revere the ones that are funny, that are entertaining, that tell us crazy stories of Molly's and Patron and Cristal and Coke and, you know, all these different crazy, you know, codeine, syrup and all this other stuff. And then they, you know, cuss you out and say, I don't want to be a role model. We really need to look at, you know, who we're promoting to our kids. We have a couple minutes left, so I'm probably going to end the show by thanking Gwendolyn for stepping onto my panel. I mean, she has an amazing opinion.
You're welcome.
And she generally like brings some of the best thought processes out of me when we talk. She's my go-to person when I'm writing or I'm trying to figure something out.
And vice versa.
Thanks, babe. Do we have time for one more piece?
Get my good side.
I'm sorry, we're having a little bit of fun. I think we have one more Black Thought piece that we're going to give you guys. It's going to be Mine is Bigger Than Yours. This is actually another one of my favorites. He's like my favorite artist. You guys have to Google him. It's at Black Ice on Twitter. And he actually has a couple of different projects that he's been putting out and releasing Black independently. Ice. So get into it.
Now see, I ain't no player hater, but I'll hate a player if you push me. See, nigga, while you stand there using all your heart trying to look the part with your cold, still eyes, nigga, you don't realize you just pussy for sale. Now, see, I would call you female, but you too frail. While she held queen, I mean, your existence is fractionally vaginal. Like the slits of the whores you use to suit your feeble needs. You know, saturated soil and faulty fertilizer. Sure, your future seeds will be just like you, pussy, for sale. On corner auction blocks, lost flocks of brethren, now invested in by this America with stocks of cocaine. Temporary monetary gain in exchange for eternal pain. While the stain of your false reality remains an ever-imprinted actuality on your kids and in your kids, as they too have to suffer with you through the bids. Just kids. Try not to let those lonely echoes bother. Knowing that father does not answer when they holler due to his undying infatuation with a dollar. Has been street scholar, now sees his toddlers through glass. And as the years pass, they grow fast and begin to understand. Damn, Dad didn't have to go away from us because he didn't love us. Just that he wasn't no real fucking man. I'd be like, oh damn. That's that cat that changed his name from David to Ayatollah. High roller, Motorola soldier, Tech 9 under his polar ass nigga. Don't know his future or past nigga, but that fast trigger got this die-cast 40-ounce swigger thinking his shit is bigger than mine. Nigga, it's not surprising to find that your state of mind got you parking that $63,000 Lexus Flex right outside your mother's hard-earned $22,000 duplex. You know, the one right next to the projects where pseudo-elated, coke game created, crime-related manhood got you ass out, nigga. Getting high till you pass out, nigga. Quick way up, fast way out, nigga. How you figure your shit is bigger than mine? Man, I tell you, these fucked up times and hardcore rhymes got you throwing up gang signs and claiming coats or shades of color with shameless boasts of emotionless lovers that gazed upon at ice that cluttered that pendant of that religion you do not follow. Your faith has evaporated and made your soul hollow. Childhood dreams turned pharmaceutical schemes got you fucking with triple beams. Cap peeling, robbing and stealing for a piece of this fucked up American pie ass nigga. Ready to die ass nigga, fly ass nigga. Sit you in a cell, you probably cry ass nigga. How the fuck you figure your shit is bigger than mine? I see you, diamond blinking, Cuban linking, and full-length minking, all strung out on disillusional thinking. And as the government subsidizes these laboratory high-rises with new chemical surprises, you continue to hide your true self behind movie gangster disguises, oblivious to what life's true prize is, equating stupidity with the length you think your dick size is. The truth in your eyes is falsified, fabricated, while you sit and wait for your fate to be debated by juries and judges who've held over 450 years worth of grudges. Nigga, get back, sit back and rediscover how to be an honest father, loyal lover, righteous brother, and not just another motherfucking...
I tell y'all what, that piece always gets me hyped.
I'm hyped. I'm like, what?
Piece always gets me hyped. That man is amazing. Shout out to Shehan the Prototype, homie. Shout out to Black Ice, Georgia Me, veteran deaf poets. Special shout out to Rich Rocket. He's the DMV Network correspondent. He's the host of the Speakeasy, which is going to be hosting our fundraiser we're doing for the Baltimore Youth Slam team. It's going to be July 26th. There's going to be a lot of information coming out about the show. Any artists interested in performing, please contact me at DMV Poet on Twitter. You can find me at DMV Poet on Facebook, at DMV Poet on Instagram. Follow me. Let me know what you think. This is going to go up on Facebook and on the Master of Radio site very shortly. Continue to... Oh, it's up there now. I'm sorry. Thank you. Continue to listen, continue to inspire, continue to encourage, and continue to have the hard conversations, because it's my opinion that it's the hard conversations that you're going to learn the most about somebody. Just continue living life and enjoy this 130-degree day in the DMV. I know I'm going to be hitting out the streets and doing some things. I got some family in my house. You got any plans, Gwen?
No, just gonna chill in the house. I already been out all day, so I need to go chill now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to stow out some plugs. I went to the Speakeasy at Annapolis last night. I would definitely want to shout out a lot of great young artists I met. I met Smiley, who's a great spoken word artist, Majestic, who is a phenomenal spoken word artist, conscious rapper. I'm having conversations with everybody. We're going to have some great interviews coming up. Dimitri Davis, special shout out to him. He's actually the beautiful vocal that's on Rebirth the Isis at the intro of the show. He's slated to come onto the show, premiere some new music, discuss his direction as an independent artist, discuss our connection, and also debuting more music. Everything else that's happening right now for Streams of Consciousness and Mass Talk Radio is really starting to become major. And I really want to thank everybody for listening. Thank everybody for the support. And, continue showing love, and we'll continue to show love back.
It's how we do, me and you, changing the world, doing whatever it takes. At the end, you're my girl, one and only. Love is taking control of me, and I dream of a day you'll be birthing a son for me. I care less about the mess people trying to cause. Don't stress, we're the best, even with our flaws. Every day I'm your Adam, you're my Eve. Can't spend too far apart, cause you're a part of me. I know the times came when I hurt you the most, but through it all, I have to love you the most. No matter the car I drive, you're my passenger side. You're my Isis, my queen, always fit for the fight. She takes me sky